Vancouver. And back-to-back losses to start right after the weekend. And this is one that really was interesting. If you watched even the highlights last night, you saw Elias Pettersson get an assist, but then also miss on like an absolute easy gonna score moment.
He's so miserable.
Vancouver were limited, I believe, to 15 or 16 shots the entire game against Utah. And this is what Rick Tocchet had to say, and then this is what Elias Pettersson had to say, gentlemen. So we've talked about he has to move his feet and he can't double clutch with the puck. I think he's waiting for something. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence in his shot, but as soon as he has room, he's got to take it and just blast it. I'd rather him just rip the puck right now. He's not moving his feet. I thought today some shifts he was moving his feet, and it looked like we had glimpses, but 6-on-5 there at the end, it's the same thing, waiting. If he just takes 3 or 4 strides, I don't know if it's a mental block right now, all year, he's got to move his feet. And Ian McIntyre, who wrote the article, went with the media scrum to Pettersson, who talked after the game, and said this: when we asked Pettersson whether confidence is a factor when struggling to score, the alternate captain said, and that's an important sentence, it's more annoying dealing with the media.
I would love to hear and see the quote, like to see if there was a hint of joking behind it.
Doesn't read well, though.
No, it doesn't read well. And, not knowing the answer, my money's on he's being sincere. Man, we all thought his season would turn around, or hoped his season would turn around. JT Miller's not there anymore. What do we got to do? What do we have to do? Okay, you're the highest paid player on this team. Mm-hmm. One of the highest paid players in the National Hockey League. Mm-hmm. Therefore, one of the highest paid hockey players in the world. That doesn't put you in a good mood? Okay. You don't like JT Miller? You guys don't get along? You're oil and water? Okay. Well, we traded JT Miller. You're still not in a good mood? Okay. Well, the coach caters to you at every step of the way, and you're still not okay. So what do we need to do to make you happy? What do we got to do to put you in your happy place? What do we got to do to make the $11.6 million you make money well spent? He's dealing with an injury, supposedly. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Okay, well, then he doesn't play. Oh, he's playing. Well, then every team has to deal with something like this. Jesse, is that the video?
Yeah, if you want the video of Pettersson post-game in Utah, this is it.
I need to see it. Yeah, okay. Because it's important.
Okay, yeah, it was available post-game. The video's 40 seconds long.
Obviously a frustrating one. What led to the outcome in your eyes?
Yeah, small details. I think we had enough to win today, but another tough one.
Can you just say, that the loss, obviously, but Artur Shilov's making 30 saves in the night. What can you say about him?
Yeah, he played great, kept us in the game. Just all game, he kept us in the game and made some really big saves.
How much are you missing Quinn Hughes in a game like this tonight?
Yeah, it speaks for itself. A play like that when we're missing him. Hopefully, obviously, we want him back, but I hope we will be back soon.
That was in postgame.
Oh,
yeah.
But where was that quote about?
You mentioned liking some part.
Where was that quote about?
The confidence.
I don't like talking to the media.
Did it happen pregame?
No, it happened. It might not have happened on camera. This is an Ian McIntyre article from Sportsnet.
Okay.
So it may just be that it didn't happen.
Because I was watching that. I'm like, okay, Vancouver media, I know they're probably top 5. I don't want to deal with these guys in the league. If you're a player. Mm-hmm. Softball. Hey, you're a leader. Talk about how good Silovs was. Talk about how good Quinn Hughes is. Like, I know these aren't, questions that are going to win anybody a Peabody Award or anything, but for the love of God, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? What do you need? What is the the bridge that we need to build between you and contentment in your game. He makes $11.6 million. Like, he's too... This Canucks team doesn't stink. They're good. I think they're good. But what is holding them back currently is their best forward, highest paid forward, does stink. He's certainly not 11.6, right? Like, oh, he's doing the right things defensively. And Pettersson should be like, Pettersson's a 50 goal scorer, isn't he? Like a perennial 100-point guy.
49 points in 71 games since the extension.
Maroon. How many goals?
Good question.
Has he hit 20?
That up.
I don't think he's hit 20. I'm pretty sure the answer is 16. Guys, like the Canucks, I mean, Tocchet, if he hadn't, he would be pulling out his hair with this guy.
I thought Ryan...
I was about to say, and then I looked over at Jesse's screen and I went, oh, wait.
I thought Ryan Henderson had an interesting take. Ryan is the producer of Donnie and Dolly, which is a huge show in Vancouver. And Ryan said the reality is it's never been easier being a Canuck in terms of dealing with the media. The media size is a third of what it used to be for the 2011 core, and most people don't travel anymore. And meaning that, like, you know, media used to, like, if you were a newspaper reporter, you were a reporter for Sportsnet or TSN, those beat reporters went with the team everywhere.
Yes.
They don't do that anymore because the money's not there.
They can't afford it.
So, you know, like David Alter is like a
unicorn.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
And that's Toronto, a market that is probably double the size. Might even be bigger. And so, you know, I think that's interesting as well. And yeah, is it a mental block? Very, very probably a mental block, as Rick Tocchet alluded to.
The yips.
Is it the yips, or is it this guy might need to get traded too? Like, maybe you need a fresh start.
I
and
think,
that is a top 5 salary in the league, is it not?
for a forward, probably. Like, okay, McKinnon, Matthews, he's tied with Panarin. Draisaitl doesn't kick in till next year. Marner probably passes him. Rantanen probably passes him. But again, none of those things have happened yet, right? So I think what's frustrating with Pettersson is we've seen him dominate with our own two eyes.
Well, that's why it's a story.
Right? This isn't a guy where we're like, all right, we're waiting for him to break out. No, it's a superstar that went away.
Dan Riccio said when Miller was traded, Pettersson said he wanted the added pressure.
And like 5 seconds later,
That was a month ago.
Oh, the media.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what do you do? What do you do? How do you make this guy happy? And it's distracting from how do you keep Brock Besser? There's another guy who's always mentioned, and maybe he's gone. What do you mean maybe he's gone? It's Brock Besser.
Yep.
The Canucks are trying to look at the Canucks neutrally. Like people tend to confuse, like, we're Leaf fans talking about what we want to happen to other teams in context of the Leafs. That's not what we do when we're talking about situations like this. As a neutral fan, trying to get in the mindset of like, okay, I'm a Canucks fan. What would I want to do? What would I want to happen in this situation? Like, I'm pulling my hair out here. This shouldn't be a bad team. This shouldn't be a bad player. And like you know, you mentioned the potential of trading him. One, that's heartbreaking for Canucks fans. Two, who's taking that? 11.6. Like, if you're taking
I think if a team like Columbus is willing to take on Seth Jones, they'd be more than willing to take on Elias Pettersson.
But you have to admit, the Blue Jackets would be blindly guessing that he's going to return to form.
Yes. Or, guys,
man.
Do you give it the summer and go, you know, listen, I know that everybody wants them to win now, but do you give it the summer and go, you need to go and do whatever it is you need to do to get back on track, and then judge it next year?
Well, that's what the Jets did a couple of years ago. The difference was they kept the team together, right? The difference was Scheifele stayed, Hellebuck stayed.
Wheeler stayed but lost the captaincy.
Yeah, well, Wheeler was like very end of his career, so it's a little different, I guess. So, you know, maybe that was enough of a change. But I mean, the Jets were this like irredeemable, unsavable situation, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. So if you're the Canucks, maybe you just hope and pray, because you're not going to get adequate. You're not going to get fair return for the player you had a few years ago. You're going to get, if you're lucky, adequate return for the player you have now, which is a decent player on a superstar's contract.
Jesse, are you team trade or team keep?
I'm on team trade because this summer we have a PK Subban situation going on because this summer his no movement clause kicks in. And I feel like that's a very underrated part of this story is that come July 1st, you cannot trade him anymore. So you might as well get it done before July 1st and get those assets because otherwise, you're just hoping that he turns back into what you hope he is, and he hasn't been that player for quite some time. And Steve, you're talking about 50 goals, like his career high is 39. He hasn't been a 50-goal scorer, and this is who you have because this is the moment where he has to step up. And there's the possibility that he's injured, but if he's this injured, then you keep him out of the lineup, right? And I feel like there's going to be a taker around the league, especially with a team like Columbus or Buffalo. That just needs a shakeup. That if you're Vancouver, I think it's time to move him.
The foundation of the trade is so obvious. Like Pettersson, Cousins. Okay, what needs to be on either side to make it work? But that is the foundation from where you begin. Mm-hmm. Easily.
I think Columbus is a little more likely too, just because of the position they're in, where they look at least a little better. And like that's the thing they've always struggled with is down the middle. And here you have a team with tons of cap space that can take a chance on a player like this because they probably won't be able to sign a guy in free agency like Pettersson because they don't come up a lot available and they don't usually go to Columbus, even though we saw it with Gaudreau, like he went to Columbus and we all questioned that. But I don't know. I think if you're Columbus, this is the swing you got to make.